Say anything.
Why can't you just say anything?
I'm gonna say anything.
People just say anything.
I swear, people just say anything. Welcome to Say Anything with Keena B. Hey, and welcome to Say Anything with Keena B. I am Keena B. Thank you so much for being here today. So today we are going to have a discussion with author Mike Destin. He was previously on an episode back last year in the first season. You should go back and check that out. It was an interview with Mike Destin regarding acting and copyright, and he is an overall really conversational person. You'll love the episode. It was a fun episode to shoot. But today we're going to be talking to him about his book, Words to Consider, and he's going to be sharing with us some of the details of the book and what inspired him to write it. Now, this did actually start out as a video, but unfortunately I had technical issues and I lost the video. But luckily I actually taped it, recorded it via voice as well, because something told me have a backup just in case, and I did. So I'm so grateful that I listened to my inner voice. And now, get ready for the interview with Mike Destin. Welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining me today for Say Anything with Keena B. I am Keena B. I appreciate you being here in person and online. And we have with us today actor and author Mike Destin.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. He is originally from St. Martin, the island of St. Martin, and resides in Tallahassee, and is an actor, as I mentioned, had graduated from FSU.
That's right.
With a BFA, and he is here today to speak with us about his book, Words to Consider, right here. Words to Consider, available on Amazon. I believe you can order it from Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and many other platforms. So Google it, Google him, Mike Destin. Also, Facebook is Mike Destiny.
That's correct. Well, yeah, Mike Destin. Same Mike Destin.
Same Mike Destin. And on Instagram. Okay? So let's first start with... Look at my notes.
That's right.
Why did you call it Words to Consider?
Good question. Namely, because I believe it's to be words to consider. You know, I noticed that I don't like to tell people what to do. You know, I'm not, some people are bossy. You know, some people are, delegators. I know that people want to do whatever it is they want to do. They want to go wherever they want to go. They want to say whatever it is they want to say, anyways. But I feel like, getting some words to help, wise words, wise counsel, to help, with your journey in life wouldn't hurt. You know what I mean? I feel like if someone is coming to you and telling you, hey, you know what, if you want to buy a car, learn the budget. If you want to get a house, learn the, and try to give you a little heads up on what to expect in this endeavor that you want to go into. So words to consider for me, I said, why I named it that was because I just wanted people to hear me out, see what is being said and consider it.
And consider
it. You don't got to do it. Just check it out. And if it speaks to you, it does. If it doesn't, then, I apologize, but it's just words that you can consider.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier about the illustration. You said that you actually sketched this out yourself. It's such beautiful imagery. What made you pick this particular type of imagery?
So those who follow me on Facebook, right? I use a lot of ellipses in my posts. And to be honest with you, that's how this book started. So sometimes, people think you need to go and write this grand, and then it kind of like repel you from actually putting out what you have on the inside. And art, there's different types of art. Idealistic, realistic, abstract. And I feel like art is art. Whatever it is you do, paint, sing, write, that's you. It doesn't have to conform to any, standard. Art can be whatever it is. I mean, these chairs are, was crafted by an artist, Yeah, it has the same function as a chair. It has 4 little things to hold us up, a little back stand to hold our back, but it's still a chair. This is the chair, that's a chair, that's a chair. Why all these different types of chairs? Why do we need all these varieties of chairs? Because everyone doesn't like the same kind of things. Everyone doesn't like, the same kind of drinks. If all we had was water and someone brought something new along, you're like, oh wow, I want to try that. But anyways, so my Facebook posts, right, came from, I use a lot of ellipses in my Facebook posts because I wanted people to ponder, to consider what I was saying. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm bringing something to the forefront. I'm trying to help shape perspective. I'm trying to help, create a revelation, in someone, because sometimes we are so constantly taking in things, we're not giving out things. So we're consuming, but we're not creating, and I want people to realize you don't have to just eat. You can prepare something for someone else to eat. So art.
Love it. Did you have a couple of passages in here that you are particularly your favorite?
Yeah. I was here.
Share with us.
And with my fiance, we was driving coming here, and I was just reading a little bit, and I started crying. It just brought tears to my eyes because I realized, wow, a lot has happened since the conception of this book. We talked about the little imagery of the book. I was letting her know that in the springtime, right, the leaves on the trees all green and vibrant and beautiful, right? But then fall comes around and the leaves are, it gets a little cold and the leaves are falling off and everything. And then winter, right, where there's no trees or no leaves on the trees. But then spring comes back around, right? The tree doesn't pass away. The leaves just fall off, right? And then they come right back on. So, in other words, like us, we go through cycles of life. We go through seasons of life. Every day or every season, we're not going to be the greatest, top of our tier, crushing it at whatever we're doing, and then things happen. You fall off, right? And it might look a little barren. You might look but then spring comes back around, So I was just looking at this and I was like, that was the idea behind the imagery, right. On this, because it's like in everything that you're doing, there's a season. Consider what season you're in, and it doesn't mean that you're going to be there forever. Because right now we're in winter.
We're supposed to be.
Right,
Florida weather.
Okay, and then spring will come back around and it'll be warm, please, and we'll move forward. But some passages I would like to read. So I have some words in here that I want people to consider, and then I have words that I've gotten from people that I've considered. So I've also, placed them in the book. I didn't put their names for all types of reasons, but I remember most of the persons who've said these things in my life that impacted me. So
start with one, and we can discuss.
Let's see. My heart is clean as a whistle, and no matter how corrupt this world gets, I won't change.
My heart is clean as a whistle, and no matter how corrupt
this world gets, I won't change.
I won't change. What inspired that?
As you live longer, as you live really, and the more you lived, you can start to really see how vicious, people can be. You can see how vicious politics are. You see how vicious, you have to see how people cannot care about something, a person, place, or thing, and you're like, you see people with different interests in certain things, and you're like, well, I understand that, but what makes you feel so adamant, and not to be able to, not to care about how people, interact with you. Some people are very cold, So I've seen over time where people have done me dirty personally. And it's like, I try not to wrong anyone. None of us is perfect here. We've all made mistakes, one facet or the other. But I actively, consciously try not to be, a negative impact on someone. And there's people who are out there who it doesn't faze them. They'll use you as a stumbling block. They'll use you as a stepping stone. They'll take advantage of you and they'll move forward and they'll just on to the next one. And I've seen that. And I've done sales, right? And if you know a car salesman or, they just want you to sign off and they get their commission and they're out of there. And they don't care what impact that has on you. Why would you sell someone something they don't need, right? Or why would you sell something with a high interest rate knowing that you could have done better, but you're just worried about you? So all I'm saying is, no matter what I've seen in people, whatever they have done, that was evil, and that they used to hurt someone else for their own personal gain, and they have elevated to some degree. I will never allow that to enter into me and change the person that I am. So I will not repay evil with evil.
It reminds me of the phrase, don't let life make you bitter.
Yeah. Someone wrote that, and that's worth to consider. So I was just,
and also just to turn it, my grandfather used to always say, someone may reap what they sow, but it doesn't mean it'll benefit you. And he used to say that, meaning don't get caught up in what someone else has done,
right?
Because it has nothing to. At the end of the day, it may not even benefit you. So keep going. And
you said that was your grand?
My grandfather,
That's
Oscar
right.
Green. Yeah.
That's right. And these are exactly that is what is in here. There's not every single word is in here, to consider. People have experienced all types of people, all types of places, and we have all gotten words, of wisdom, words that help change our lives forever from whoever that person is, because you have that person that is near and dear to you that you hold in high esteem, and they have said something to you at whatever stage you were in life that changed the direction of your life forever. That's a word that just came into you, and you've considered that word and you realize, you know what? This makes sense. This is something that's good. And then it changes. I'll tell you, when I was in high school, right? Long story. I wasn't really worried with high school. I wasn't worried with school. When I came in my freshman year of high school, I wanted to be famous, and I wanted everyone to know who Mike Destin was before I leave this school. I didn't care about graduation. I didn't care about doing schoolwork, none of that stuff, right? All I was worried about is if they're going to remember me when I leave here. So everything I did was in that direction. Wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I was a kid, and that's how I was, because a lot of things came natural to me. So sports, school, I was like, graduating from high school should be the byproduct of just coming to school. You don't need to do any work, really, because it was that easy,
right? Right.
I thought. So first 2 years were crushing it, and I wasn't even really trying, right? And then you can get lost in the sauce. You don't get lost in the sauce. So afterwards, I was focused on track, modeling, all the other things that I was doing. School was in the back burner of the back burner. Grades start to slip. Grades starts to slip. Before you know it, I failed one too many times. And I never really graduated high school from my country. Okay. My mom all my brothers did. My mom was devastated because not me, not Mike Destin. This should be nothing to you. So that didn't happen. And it hurt me that my mom saw me in that state, So I went and I got a GED. And just like the GED, went in that class and I was like, this is cake, So I came to class with no pens, no paper, no books. I just came because I was like, this is cake. I'm not even going to You know, help me, Lord. But that's the arrogance that I had. You know,
I feel you.
Yeah. So it was like, this is beneath me. Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting there, and we had a mock exam or whatever, and the teacher asked me for my notes, and I was like, "What notes?" She was like, "You didn't take any notes?" I'm like, "I didn't take any notes." She said this, and this changed my life from that point forward. She said, "Oh, I know what kind of student you are." "Oh, you know me? Oh, you know everything about me now?" When I said that rocked me, it rocked me both ways, because first way it rocked me was like, dang, am I going to run this back again? You know? Feeling out of high school and now to come back here and this, and then fail out of here because I don't want to grit up my loins. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then it rocked me, was like, wait, you don't know me. Whatever words you say, you don't know what I'm capable of. You know? So I took that both ways. And when I tell you, that propelled me, right? End up being valedictorian in the class, etc. Mm-hmm. But it propelled me to be like, well, hold on. I need to start paying attention to my life. You know, I need to start paying attention to detail. I need to start paying attention, because just because it's easy, that doesn't mean you can't drop the ball, you know? So, but she said that, and it was one of those things where I took it to the bank, you know?
Because she was judging you.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that caused me to get a grip. I mean, me and the teacher has a wonderful relationship now, because the last word she told me when I got out of the class was, she said, a lot of people get this diploma and do nothing with it. She said, I see you, and I see you doing great things. Mm-hmm. So she went from mock exam, mm-hmm. telling me, oh, yeah, I know what kind of student you are, mm-hmm. to at the end of the exam to saying, I see that you're doing great things. Mm-hmm. Just because someone says something about you doesn't mean that's set in stone. That doesn't mean it's rock solid, it's concrete. That can change if we're willing to change. Mm-hmm. You know, I could have said that lady's crazy. She don't know me. Continue doing what I'm doing. And then flunked out of there. Mm-hmm. And that would have been a whole doozy now, because now I can create all sorts of stuff. But, you know, I'm just saying, words have an effect on people. Mm-hmm. Okay? And you thinking that, oh, well, I can just say whatever to anyone. Not true. People are being affected by it. And I went as far as to understand the meaning of words. That everyone that I have given a negative word to, that I could remember, I called them, I text them, emailed them, and told them, this is years later, okay? And I told them, hey, remember that one time, so-and-so, I have to give the context, because like, this is crazy, da-da-da-da-da, and I said, whatever, I want you to know that's not true. I want you to know that you can do all things. I want you to know that you can crush whatever dreams that you have inside. You
were reversing the you try to rebuke and reverse.
You understand? Because I understand. I don't know what that could have been doing to that person. Mm. Some people take stuff to the bank, and they remember stuff. Mm. I don't know how many years this was.
It's funny you said they take it to the bank, right? Mm-hmm. So they take it to the bank, they cash it, they invest it. They spread it around.
Internalize, right? And now it's
out there. Yeah.
So I don't want to, the Bible says bitter water and spring water cannot come from the same well. Mm-hmm. I don't want evil to come out of me if I'm trying to put out good. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be both evil and good coming out here. You know, so I try to, you know, put out positivity, smile, encourage, uplift. You know, it takes nothing away from me. I love lifting people up, pushing them, giving them words to encourage. Like that, to me, it makes me smile when other people are smiling. You know, it really does. So
let's read another passage.
All right. Let's read. There's one that I love. Okay. So this was a wise woman. She said, pertaining to relationships, do what works for your house. Mm-hmm. And she said that thing hit me like a ton of bricks, because too many people are going in other people's relationship house and seeing if the carpets and the drapes and everything are the way their carpet and their drapes and everything in their house is working. And it's like, okay, wait, hold on. You're entering someone else's house. However their china is laid out, however their table is laid out, however the floor plan is, that's not your business. You know, you have a house. Is your house in order? Is everything going well over here? Right, but you're coming in over here and you're trying to work. So she said, do what works for your house, because she was talking to women in relationships where too many times people are coming in and telling them, girl, you need to do this. Girl, your man need to do that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's all slow it down. You know what I mean? And let's first of all, this is my relationship. You know, and one thing I don't do, like Destin, is try to take outside noise and plug it in between, you know, me and my beloved's relationship, because they don't have to live with the results. You know, I have to live with the results. I have to live with whatever that trouble brought in, you know. And another thing I don't do is, because everyone is a relationship guru on the internet. So everyone
What do they call
you,
them? What do they call them? You said everyone's they're
counselors,
computer experts,
Armchair therapists.
armchair therapists.
armchair therapists. That's hilarious.
Yes.
Wow. And it's like that. You know, and people look at these things and they tell you a nice story and how it works for them, and I understand that. But you understand, it's by case to case basis. We're all different. You know, we all have different dynamics. So how is it that you're in a relationship with a gentleman? Like, human beings are so complex, right? So we have where we were born, right? Our parents, right? Their environment, and then what happened during our upbringing. All of those things mashed together created who you are. All of those combinations, and then obviously much more. You take all of that and you bring another person who's probably not from where you're from, you know, obviously two different parents, you know, and all these different factors, right? Like, for example, me, my fiance, she's from Monticello.
Where's Monticello?
Monticello.
Oh, Monticello, Florida.
I've been saying it Monticello. I have to say it because the mustache, you know, Monticello. So she's from Monticello, and I'm from St. Martin. Talk about worlds apart. Like, I have to take a plane to come to see, you know, if I was living where I'm from. And my island is 37 square miles, really, really tiny in comparison to all of Florida, you know. So, and we speak a little different. You know, we do things a little different. You know, we clean the house a little different. We cook different foods, you know. A lot of different factors that we have, you know, and I embrace that, because how could you learn new things if you don't get exposed to new things, you know? And so, but one thing that we do have in common, and the story between me and her is, it's a book in itself, to be honest with you. What I knew about her, right, that made me new right away, is that we have the same spirit, you know? And I told her, this was like 3 months of knowing her, by the way. So it wasn't like, you know, years. Right. And we was just talking last night. I showed her the text message, you know. I said, I told her, yeah, we was wilding in the text messages, but that's not the point. I said, look at these text messages. Look what we said. And one of them was talking about how, you know, I was letting her know that I appreciate the night, the evening that we shared together, etc. And I want you to know that I have this affinity towards you. And I can say that I have that so early on because I know the spirit that she has, you know. And she hasn't deviated too far from the me, you know. The person that I met her, all this while, she's the same person, you know, more or less, you know, but, and
They say women know they know them.
I believe that.
Yeah, my
I believe
husband. Similarly, my husband is Zambian, and we met online.
Okay.
And it was within 3 months that we first met in person. but we were engaged very soon after that.
Right.
It's you know, it's
It's
really
the same
rapid.
story. It was
Really
not even
rapid.
3 months and I already proposed. You know, we met May 17th.
Okay.
And then August 24th.
Okay.
Yeah. So people think, you know, I think this is, and I tell her this because we had a whole ordeal, but I tell her like this. I said, men propose, women accept. Right? That's how it happens. Unless you're proposing to yourself and then you're accepting it yourself, then that's a whole other party. Right? But I mean,
It made me think about there has been a situation where people married them, like they married inanimate objects, and you know what I mean, like you know what I mean.
a toaster oven.
I'm sorry, we digress. Finish your story.
So that's hilarious. So that's, you know, something I tell her. I said I knew what I was looking for. You know, so the Bible talks about Proverbs 31, you know, and verse 10 downwards, and what a virtuous woman is. But I have dated, I have done all sorts of stuff, and you kind of get an understanding of who is and who isn't a wife. So in the book also it says that not everything in trousers is a man, and not everything in a dress is a woman.
Right.
Just because, you know, you have a child, that doesn't make you qualified to be a mother. Yes, you have a child, but you know what it means, you know, to be a mother. Like all of what it means. It's not just having a nice shiny baby to let your neighbors know, hey, I have a baby. There's a journey with this baby. The journey you also become, you know, with this baby. So, and just because I stand here and I'm wearing pants, that doesn't necessarily make me a man. You know what it means to be a man? Oh, you just got to talk like this and, you know, do like this.
Bring home the bacon.
Right. And they think that's not, it's more than that, you know? So I've dated, and it just haven't gone past that. And I think nothing's wrong with dating if you know what you're looking for. And I think in the book also I said, knowing what you don't want is just as important as knowing what you do want. Because if you go to a restaurant and they have all this food here, and you're like, wow, they all look so good. All right. Well, do you know what you don't want? Okay, do you know what you're allergic to? You know what I mean? Like, do you know what you don't want? Let's filter that out first. So you're looking for all these men. Well, what in here do you don't want, you know, in these things? Now, if it's the shallow things, oh, I don't want a short guy. Lord, now we're going into preferences. I don't want to fill in the blank, you know, of what this world is talking about. It's in the book, they're giving love a face before love arrives.
Was that in the book?
It's in the book.
That quote right there?
It's just coming to me, you know? So you're giving love a face. Stop saying you need a man to be 6 feet tall, you need to have 6-pack abs, and you need to make 6 figures. You're giving love a face. The husband who will love you for everything you are and everything you aren't showed up. But because he didn't,
Check off a list.
you're like, he's a friend. Oh, he's a good friend. You know that one. Oh, he's a best friend. You know, he's not someone, he's just a good friend of mine. He's always there when I need him. You know, he's always supportive. Sounds like a husband. He's always supporting. He's always loving. He's always there when you need me. He's reliable. Whoa. Isn't that qualities of a person you want in your life? You know, someone you would want to be with. But a lot of relationships are based on, you know, preferences and visuals, you know. So one thing I purpose in my heart, I've given chances to all types of women in my life because I just didn't know who was going to love me for real. Too many people have pretended, you know, to be this person, and they can pretend. You talk about men pretending. In my little journey, you know, I've seen people put on the whole mask.
Okay? My husband says it's a long con.
And
they can do it for years.
And they will, until they get you nice, hook and sinker. You know, hook, line, and sinker. And it feels to me like you want to give people a chance, right? But because I've done the dating world for so long, immediately I can filter out what's
You have to be able
immediately.
You have to be able to filter.
And if you don't do that, you're just going another 2 months of the rigmarole.
And because people, I know I always get the question of finding love online,
Mm-hmm.
like the people are fearful of the con. And what my husband and I always say is the con can be right there in your face.
Right.
And still be applied the same way if you are not asking the right questions. And making them give the answers, not talking around.
Mm-hmm.
Because anybody can con you, whether it's in your face or online. A con
It's a con. That's right. And that's true, because people are asking questions like, okay, what do you work? What is your favorite color? Mm-hmm. What are your favorite food? That's not the meat and potatoes. I mean, if I'm 12 years old.
And ask it 3 days later and see if you still get the same answer. Because it's harder to remember a lie than it is. Because the truth you don't have to
That's
remember.
right. You just
now,
know.
my dad always said that. Truth you never have to remember. But a lie is so hard to maintain.
You gotta remember.
If you keep asking the same question over and over and over again, sooner or later that lie is going to rise up. But you have to be paying attention.
Story change.
And how a person reacts to being asked the same question over and over again. Are they impatient of the fact that you keep asking?
Right.
Are they patient? Or the opposite? Are they patient about it? Does it seem to just roll off of them because they understand? Innately, you begin to understand that they're making sure you're telling the truth.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Checks and balances. You want to make sure
Yeah.
it is what it is.
And give what you get. You know what I mean? Like do not be offended if you also get that same treatment
Very
back.
true.
You know?
Very true.
It's like, okay. And then people wouldn't have to have all these games and tests. You hear about all the games and tests people have online.
That's a whole nother.
And I was like, these children out there are all friendship testing, relationship. I was just testing you. I thought you just asked the question and believe
like
what
an
the
adult
person
person,
Yeah.
and just get down to it. And I think too many people just want free meals, and not really are interested in marriage. Now, to me, that's just me. If I'm dating someone, it's to marriage. Like, I'm not here for fun, like that's just, now I'm not saying I haven't had fun. Okay. We all had our time, but I'm saying that's when I was a kid. Now when I'm adult, I need to put
childish
away. Thank you so much. And now I need to put the adult things in front of me. We can't keep living life on the fast track. Right. We was talking the other day, and we said life is literally decisions. That's literally all life was. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, you're picking this or that, this or that, this or that, this. What time am I going to wake up? I'm going to wake up this time or that time. Am I going to get ready at this time? Am I going to pick this up? You're just making decisions. That's all you're doing. And it's like a tree diagram where you stand at one place and there's all these decisions. And the more good decisions you make, the more in the good direction you're in.
That makes me think, do you think that it's predestined?
You know what I believe? I believe that God has a plan for everybody.
Oh, yes.
Everyone, I don't care who you are. I believe that 100%. I believe He has a goal, a predestined place for you to arrive to. Like my fiance would say, He gives us the leeway to color. Okay? So the image is the image, right? Now, if you color outside the lanes, if you put a blue here and a green there, all right, but it's still going to be the image. What is that? What He wants for you to accomplish in the life that He's given to you will get completed. If you stay, and that's not meaning you can't make mistakes. That's not meaning, you can't fall short. That's not that. It's like, okay, where your focus to go to Quincy. You can take some back roads, or you can take some routes or whatever, but we need to get to Quincy, So no matter what route you take, sometimes you get longer. Sometimes, some people, they went to school, studied to be a doctor, and then do guidance counseling all their life. And it's like, well, you're a doctor. Why? Well, the money, whatever, led them that way. But their heart was that way. So they went the roundabout way to get back to the same place when they could have just been, right there. So I do believe, things are predestined. I do believe, we have a journey, and in the book talked about how your life, right? God is the director of your life, right? And I speak to me. God is the director of my life, and I'm acting out the cues and the script the way He's directing me. And my life is a movie only God can direct. That's the actual quote. And I'm acting it out the way, He's telling me, hey, this is your lines, that's your lines. And that's what we're doing. It's a beautiful movie.
Boy, I wish you would tell me the exact lines. Wouldn't that be fun?
Right.
This is exactly the lines.
So you got to get the book. No.
Get the script.
But, but that, to me, that, I believe that because I told her, I'm only 32, right? And the things that I've told her, she's kerfuffled, as to what I've been through in such a period of time. Highs and lows, just highs and lows, left and right, extremity, just all sorts of stuff that's taking place in my life. And I don't know if I do a good job telling the story or, any which one, but it's a lot of things.
I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Appreciate it. Just a lot of things. And I just learned to roll with the punches, I know things will work out in the end. No matter what happened, no matter who I meet, what happened, what's being done. I believe that. I put a smile on my face. I don't try to wear and tear on anyone, because I know it's a journey. And like any movie we watched, if the movie was this guy or woman was rich and they just had everything and they graduated out of the greatest schools and everything went great, and you're like, this is a boring movie.
Really boring movie.
What is happening? Nothing is happening here. But when that person went in the mud and he went to the Vietnam and he almost died and he found love, but the love was taken from him. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want a little, literally in film and theater, there's an equation for how to write movies. And if you look at, and I'm really good at telling what's going to happen in a movie, it's ridiculous. You think I'm a prophet because I'm that good.
No. I tell my son all the time, it's like, I already know what's going to happen. He's
Because
like,
you can see it.
I can see it. He's like, no, and I'll tell him, but I said, I'm not even watching the series.
Right.
This is how it's going to end.
Boom, 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 boom.
And
you can see
back
it.
to me like,
And it's basically, you have, you get predisposition, the backstory, if they have that backstory, right? Then you have the rise in action, right? The what's taking place. Oh, the aliens are coming. What we got to do, the villain or whatever. And then they build up that to the climax. Oh gosh, we got to make sure we kill the aliens before this certain time because or the world's going to end. And then they do whatever they need to do at the climax of it. And then, we've saved the world and everything is great again. And then you might have, I forgot the back part of what it's called. I forgot the back part, but it's like, if you might get a sequel or if something else is going to happen. Right. So it's just the same knowledge, backstory of the character, what's happening. You can get the tension that's going to rise the film to whatever it's going to be. You can have the big fight, the big drama. She leaves him or whatever situation comes off. Then it's going to taper down. It's like, we got to do better next time. And then what you learn, and then probably a sequel or whatever. And most movies follow the same graph.
some type of trope or some type of in order to
and stock characters. If you see
the side characters,
right,
yeah.
and you know whose characters who, you know who's the comedic relief, you know who's the hero, all of these things. And it's like, to me, sometimes when I look at certain films, you can tell that they didn't try. Like AI can write a better story than this, because it not only does it follow the same graph or the same same graph or whatever, the character names are the same, and it's just like you're not even being creative with the speech, like with the language, like give me something unique, So it's this, and it's the naked women, fast cars, and money. No,
Fast and Furious 1 through 111.
They just keep going, and it's the same. Now you have a car going to the moon.
I saw that one.
You got a car going to the
It went
moon.
to space.
It's like Power Rangers in space. So it's and this is why I love what Richard Burns is doing here with his new TV channel. I'm just going to advertise that there. Castle TV. I don't know if you've seen it, heard about it.
Yes, I think they have.
And, we're getting ready to put some like originals on there. And the type of film, TV series, etc., that was created that didn't make it to mainstream media because they want to take it from you. Have their writers.
So you're going to produce? Okay.
And so we'll need some actors. Okay? In here.
I'll do a script.
We'll figure it out. Right. Script supervisor. And, and put out some original content that doesn't have to be watered down, and or fit, the idea, of mainstream media, and to have more diversity, period, honestly, in film and theater and, sitcoms and rom-coms.
I literally have a script right now that doesn't suit the ideal.
We need it.
It does not end.
We need it.
Intentionally. I was like, I can't stand happy endings and romances. They're not realistic.
And that's...
However, they don't sell either.
Because people's
people
hearts
want a happy ending.
You have so like FSU and other theater auditoriums, right? You have education schools. They have you have the main theater, in the Heights, Chicago. The musicals, the Romeo and Juliet, the stuff everyone knows. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful, it's great. And then you have like the annex. You have a different place that do the experimental theater.
Oh, okay.
This is for the real people who
really want to dig in. Okay.
Not the mainstream. You're just here to see people laugh, sing, and dance. No, this is for oh wow, I never knew this. So it's a different side of theater because people have written all sorts of stuff. So we only see the same things because that's what sells. I believe, right, that people learn more from a complete education than just a fixed amount of whatever I think you should know.
The straight line.
Yeah. Because you wanna see it all, right? So you can know it exists. And it's crazy to say, but some people, imagine being here in Quincy and never going to Tallahassee.
There are plenty of people who do that.
Oh yes, yeah.
There are plenty of people. I have talked. I know you all have too. You've talked and meet people who have never left their town that they live in, and the town has a population of less than 1,500. Well, this area does not.
Right.
But other areas that do, I literally and will boast about it.
Right.
Oh, I'm not.
I've been here all my life, and it makes me think. And this is not a boat ride. This isn't a plane ride. A plane,
No.
You just hop in a car and you just drive over and you're there. You haven't even done that. So imagine how limited you are in exposure.
You will think that all the alien creatures that they saw came from somebody's actual brain, when in fact there's a fish out there that looks exactly like that.
And you don't show it to them. They'll have a heart attack if you show it to them.
They have a heart attack. Some of these creatures,
right.
that are actually out in the sea, in the ocean.
Real life, And to me, so that's that. So that means you haven't seen the beach, what a shame, right? So it just makes me think about. And this is why media is so powerful, right? Media is so powerful because I can shape your reality without you leaving your room. I can tell you how a group of people will behave without you ever interacting with one of them. So now you have a preconceived notion of some people you've never met.
Never met.
Wild.
And that happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Yes.
And when you travel like outside the country and you meet someone who has never met a black person before, but has only seen them on television. And immediately thinking, are you a rapper or related to a rapper or married to a ball player?
Gotta be.
Because how can
There's
you be
no other
here
way.
unless you have unless you're on Real Housewives of
or a drug dealer.
of something, or a drug dealer, or a mule, or something.
I thought you guys have do-rags in your pockets. I thought,
yeah,
gold chains all over you. So they see this on TV and they think it's real. And I know someone would say, no, that's not true. You don't understand. You haven't met someone who hasn't left. I've met someone who told me I was the first black person they met.
It's still a lot of people like that.
I'm like, excuse me? Where did you live? Where were you?
and then it becomes that you are the representation of every black person
across the
that they
board.
meet. So if you are a horrible person, that's what they're going to remember. And if you
Right.
are the sweetest, kindest person, and that is a horrible place to be.
Yeah.
That is a horrible place.
Because you're right. You're putting them. Yeah.
Because now we're pigeonholed to be on our best behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what if I wanted to freak out? No.
Right. No, I can't do that because anyways.
You can't. So one last passage,
Okay.
and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Pick the one you want to leave people with.
Oh, the eyes just dropped right on it. It says, good people are out there, and good things happen when good people meet. So basically, I always would say, when good people meet good people, good things happen.
Yeah.
And it's not always you're going to meet people who aren't kind, or people who aren't lovely to be around, people who aren't, everyone at their job has that one person they're excited when they're at work with them. And then there's the other person where it's like, you could have skipped today. And
You could have skipped.
today would have been just fine. Everything would have operated. In fact, it would have been better if you stayed home today. So I always say, you don't want to be that person. We're like, oh, Mike came today. Lord Jesus, it's going to be a long day. I didn't want to be that person, So that's why whenever I meet people, it's always high energy, because I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to be here, and that spills over on people.
What do you do when you're not feeling it?
When I'm not feeling it, I'll tell you, which is usually not often, but I do get into, because I get my energy from being alone in my alone time at home, with my fiance, just reserved, I talk, as you can tell, a lot, okay? But when I'm home, I'm thinking, and I would break my thinking with her, because she's who I speak to at home, clearly. And I would break it usually the same way. You want to know something? And I would break my silence because I've been thinking all day. You want to know what's true? That's another way I would break the silence. When thinking, I would say, you know what's crazy? And I would break my thinking, and then I would enter into conversation. So I spend a lot of time thinking. And that, for me, it's getting my energy. I'm reflecting. I'm listening. I'm seeing, what can I do better? How can I be a better husband, to her? How can I be a better person to whatever it is I'm doing? How can I be more effective? What do I need to learn? I just really be thinking, and there's things people say, it rings in my head. There's things people believe, it rings in my head, and I try to work these things out and see, well, that don't make sense. Well, why would you do that? Why people would think that? By their own logic, that doesn't make any sense. And I just be thinking. And when I'm either cooking, doing the dishes, because idle work to me. That's like, I just do it. Excuse me. Taking a shower, cleaning. So my brain just runs, and then I break the silence, and then I say something. So I'm usually, reserved, I'm not usually the outside party person. He's always outside. People always try to get me to go outside. Because they know it's a good time when I come. Because I always say, I know how to be present.
Oh.
Very important. You want to be present wherever you are. You don't want to be here, but be someplace else. Then why am I not there? So if I'm here, I'm here. What are we doing? What's going on?
So you basically will just the word force comes to my mind. You're going to force yourself to be present regardless of what's going
you
on.
know, and you talk, you know, because I'm always interested in hearing people speak. Like that to me is because I don't know this person. You're going to say something that might change my life forever. You might give me a joke that I'll listen to, I'll laugh when I get home. People are like movies, you know? I haven't seen this movie before. Okay, let me see. You know what I mean? Let's see what's going on here.
People like movies.
And some movies you like, some movies are shorter, some is a trailer. You know what I mean? But you realize, oh, that was a cool time, or I'm not doing that again. But nevertheless, it's a new experience, and I believe wholeheartedly, life is such an experience. It's not something you have to do it.
You have to do it. All right. So now you've heard it. Words to Consider by Mike Destin, Destin. Available on Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. Google him. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. Mike Destin. And we really appreciate you coming.
I really appreciate you for having me on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And there you have it, my interview with Mike Destin, Destin. Check him out on all social media platforms and check out his book, Words to Consider. Thank you to everyone who came to Wimbia's Market to hear him, and we appreciate your presence. Share this interview on all platforms. Share it with your friends. Buy his book. Support, because if we don't support one another, what are we doing out here? He said it best. Good things happen when you meet good people, and he's good people, and his fiance is good people, and we just really want you to go out there and support their creative endeavors. Thank you so much. Thank you again for listening and hanging with me. If you listened all the way to the end, hashtag Mike Destin. Hashtag Mike Destin. If you listened all the way to the end, I want to know who's listening all the way to the end. And always remember to go ahead and say that thing that you need to say. Have a great day, and we will be back next week.